Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Deacon on YouTube. Are you in the midst of a good Lent? Are you examining your faith and spending time in reflection? Over on my other channel, The Way of Our Cross is in full swing. I hope you've been watching these short videos and find them helpful. I'll leave a link in the info page down below. I invite you to participate in the Way of Our Cross so that you could perform a spiritual checkup to see how well you might be following 6 of Jesus's core teachings. And while I'm at it, if you find these videos on this channel helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. One of the important aspects of this channel is to talk about the ministry of the deacon and address nuts and bolts and spirituality connected with the diaconate. With this in mind, I'd like to share what happens after a deacon ends a ministry at one church and accepts a new assignment. Since I have accepted an invitation to begin a new ministry at a parish, I thought it might be helpful to share how a deacon is assigned to a new community of faith. So, let's roll back the clock and the calendar and let me take you through the process, a process which was somewhat unusual as it was affected by the pandemic. In October of 2020, I ended my ministry at St. George's, just as all of us had pretty much gone into lockdown. When I had conversations with our bishop, he asked if I would be willing to be assigned to a new parish. I told him that even under normal circumstances, I would need time to reflect and spend time thinking about how I would like to move forward. But with churches pretty much closed down during the pandemic, the choice was obvious: to wait until things began to loosen up a bit. Well, during the lockdown, our archdeacon decided to retire as well. And as we began to come out of one of our lulls in the pandemic, when we thought things might begin to level out, a new archdeacon was appointed. It was not too long after this when the new archdeacon, Laura, gave me a call to catch up and asked if I would like to be reassigned. I pretty much gave the same response as I did with the bishop, as we had once again had an uptick in cases. Then in the fall, as the pandemic leveled out again, deacons of the diocese were able to once again meet for our annual fall get-together. It was during this check-in time when I heard that the deacon assigned to St. Edmund's, a church pretty close to where I live, was leaving the diocese after accepting a new job position. Well, I made a private mental note. In the meantime, I had agreed to become part of a team to visit churches that were interested in the diaconate and don't have a deacon. Visiting deacons were invited by rectors to serve as guest deacon, and then after the service, talk about the diaconate and answer questions. I thought it was a good way to visit different parishes, to see if there might be a good fit. Well, I made one visit, and it was a grand experience for everyone concerned. It was really a blast. It was during this time that I discovered that St. Edmunds was interested in having a new deacon assignment. So, after a conversation with my archdeacon, a meeting was set up so I could meet with the rector. Not too long after our meeting, the rector was pleased enough with my ideas and interests to ask if I would like to serve as deacon at their parish, and I accepted. After our conversation, the rector asked what we do next. I said, I was going to ask you the same thing. See, I had been assigned so long ago that all that was needed in those days was a verbal from me, the bishop, and the rector. So I had no idea of how all this worked. The next step was to ask our new archdeacon what we do next. And I got the same answer. I'm not sure. I'm making this sound much more dramatic than it is. Actually, the process is pretty simple. The bishop must first approve, and then all that's needed is to have all parties, including myself, sign a deacon agreement / contract, which we have within the diocese. The document is basically an agreement between the parish and their deacon, listing things they will do to support my ministry and what the deacon will do for the parish. And always, there's a little bit of room for negotiation as what they will do to support a diaconal ministry, including various financial obligations, because traditionally the diaconate is non-stipendary. I'm not going to go into detail about our deacon agreement, mainly because each diocese will have something similar but different. So there's no reason to go into detail. It really wouldn't be helpful. But the reality is that once the agreement is signed, a new chapter in ministry will begin. And where it will lead, who knows? That's up to the Spirit and the deacon. In time, I'm sure I'll share things from St. Edmunds, so you'll get to see what may transpire as I slowly work my way into parish life and ministry. I was given some advice from my first spiritual director, a deacon in the diocese, who said that when one begins a new ministry at a church, first get to know the people, their interests, and their spiritual gifts, and then get to know the community around the church as well. This was sage advice, and it has served me well. So, I'm off on a new ministry adventure. Next month, I'll be heading out to Ontario, California, to visit Christ Church Parish, who, during the pandemic lockdown, created a reflection space entitled Rebecca's Garden. I'll be chatting with the rector and volunteers and sharing images of this new baby garden space, which I'm sure will blossom into something special. God bless, and see you next month as we present That Deacon on YouTube. Bye for now.